Alright, hey guys, it's Scissors. Welcome to the Pagan Perspective. Today is Friday, and this week we are talking about our favorite magical creatures and a little bit of history behind them. Now, to pin down my favorite magical creature would be a bit of a challenge. I am a huge fairy person. I love fairies of all types. I love going into the different types of fairies and other mythical beings as well, but seeing as fairies is kind of my I gravitate towards fairies more. We're going to concentrate on one that I just find to be kind of quirky and very interesting, and something that I wanted to do research for, so I took the opportunity to do so for this video. And that is the Will-O Wisp. Now, the Will-O Wisp goes by several different names. I'll go through some of those before I explain what it is. It goes by Ignis Fatuus, which is Latin for foolish fire. Goes by Will-O Wisp, Corpse Candle, Jack-o'-lantern, Friar's Lantern, Wisp, Fairy Fire, Pixie Light, and in South America it goes by many names, but the one that I found was Luz Mala. And what the Will-O Wisp actually is it is a creature with a light that misleads people and gets them into dangerous situations. I've actually had a run-in with one, so I'll tell you a story later. But they usually try to get someone off of a path into the wilderness, get them to go towards swamps and bogs where they can get trapped. Yeah. So in Irish culture, the Will-O Wisp is a mischievous spirit. It's usually a spirit that's between heaven and hell, so in purgatory. In Britain, that's where it's known as Fairy Fire or Pixie Light. The word Pixie Light and the fact that the Will-O Wisp guides people astray is where you get the term pixie led. They're also said to be a light or ball of light that is guarding a treasure. The term Fairy Fire refers to a light that is carried by the puka around Argentina and Uruguay. It's known as Luz Mala, which is a fireball, which, depending on the color, signifies whether or not it's good or bad. If it's a light color, like blue or green, then it's a spirit that needs to be prayed for, where if it's red, it's the temptation of Satan and you should run from it. My first experience with finding out about the Will-O Wisp was in Arthur Spiderwick's Field Guide to the Fantastical World Around You. Yes. Illustrated by Tony Diterlizzi. I'm really bad at pronouncing that name, so I'll spell it out for you. Diterlizzi. Just so you have that. It's a really beautiful illustration of like this little bug type creature, and it's kind of like a really fat firefly, and so I've always liked that image of the Will-O Wisp myself. I will tell you a little bit of a story, and this is slightly embarrassing, but I will tell you anyways. So before I left Arizona, the house that I lived in with my family, you had the main house, or here, I'll draw it. It works better that way. Okay. So you have the main house, and then I lived in a little guest house out here. It's not that big, but just over in this area. So my house didn't have a bathroom. I had to go into the main house to go to the bathroom. And one night, for some reason, the house was a lot darker than normal, and I went inside to use the restroom, and I got lost. Usually, like, you go in to the left, there's the bathroom. It's a very simple layout of a house. For some reason, I could not find my bearings when I walked in the door, and I'm trying to feel around for the wall, for the table, couch, anything that will tell me where I was, and I could not find anything. And I really, really had to pee, so I'm looking around trying to figure out where I am, which direction I'm facing. I can't figure it out, which is really annoying. and really quite terrifying because I'm in my own house. But so I'm looking for anything that I can walk towards to figure out where I am. And off in some direction, which I thought was in the direction of the bathroom. I guess I was completely turned around, but there was a faint green light glowing. So I start walking towards it, because if I can figure out what that is, or what's around there, then I can get my bearings. And I'm following this light. It's very faint, and it keeps getting farther away. And somehow I end up across the house, the complete opposite end from the bathroom, in some weird corner that, like, would be impossible to get into without touching either a wall, a table, a chair, or a couch. Like, I was completely walled in. I have no idea how I managed to get in there. I did not figure out where I was until I bumped into the piano. And I was completely dumbfounded. And so I got Pixie-led by a Will-O Wisp in my own house. That was interesting. Yeah, so that's my fun, quirky, magical creature for you guys, and my embarrassing kind of story, but whatever. Whatever works. I will see you guys next week. Much love and blessed be.